Hey, college football fans, it is Tom with Splinter Sports Talk, and we're talking college football. And if you don't know, I am a huge Michigan football fan. Yes, we're going to get on to some other teams, but we're really going to start off with the Michigan Wolverines. So listen, you know what? We have some huge games this weekend. Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Florida, Georgia. There's some nice games this weekend. Something that you can, hang around and order a pizza, get some beer, and watch a great game, So listen now. Michigan State. You have the number 6 Wolverines, the number 8 Michigan State Spartans. This game, I can't tell you from a football standpoint how big, how huge this game is. This game is even bigger, though, for Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion. You have a Michigan team that is starting to show some dominance in games. Yes, I think they've played somewhat of a soft schedule, but they're showing dominance. They're showing flashes of old Michigan football, which to me, that's what I love. And I think at this point in time, if we're going to say that this season was legitimate, we've got to win this game. Harbaugh has not done so hot. If you're a Michigan fan, he has not done so hot against Michigan State or Ohio State. This is a victory right here he needs. I can't tell you how badly he needs this game and how badly Michigan needs this game. Now, listen, we're both in the top 10. We've played 5 times in history when both teams have been in the top 10. So that's not very often. They've played each other 114 times. So for only 5 games where both teams have been in the top 10, this is a big game, folks. Now, listen, in the last 5 meetings, Michigan has won 3. Harbaugh is 3-3 against Michigan State. Michigan State themselves is having a better season. Last year, they didn't look so hot. They were talking about firing their coach. But you know what? I think maybe could they've been sandbagging a little bit last year. I don't know. But this year, Michigan State has looked a lot better. They look a lot tougher. Their running game is strong, just like Michigan. Defense is looking pretty good. Now, they've had a bye week to prepare for Michigan. Rest players, anybody injured, hopefully get them healthy for the game. So that's another thing right there against Michigan that they need to overcome. They need to be mentally prepared to go and do the job that needs to be done, and that's beat Michigan State. The facts of this whole entire series is that this is the 114th game. Michigan has won 71 games. They've lost 37. They've had 5 ties. In historical perspective, this game is bigger than any game for Michigan, because this game against the in-state rival, this game is all that matters. It doesn't. Yes, the Ohio State is a huge rivalry. I get that, but Michigan State is just down the road from Ann Arbor. This is the game you want to win. This is recruiting battles. This is in-state where, fans go back and forth with each other. We got you. We won. Whatever. But like I said, so the game to me is so big. And Harbaugh at the same time, Harbaugh has not done great. He has a very weak schedule or a very weak win percentage when it comes to November and December games. He hasn't beat Michigan State like we would like him to. He hasn't beat Ohio State at all. Not good in bowl games. So at this point in time, this is why I'm saying he needs to pull a victory out of this game. Now, both teams have played a soft schedule. They both rely on the run game. So this is going to play such a key factor in the game. Can Michigan's duo, can they run on Michigan State? Will the offensive line be able to put those holes in there? I believe that in this game, more importantly than any game they played so far, Michigan State needs to have a strong run game. It has to be stronger than the other games. We've got to have ball control and keep Michigan State off the field. Secondly, turnovers. Michigan State's defense is pretty high in the country for creating turnovers. Michigan, on the other hand, they've done a miraculous job this year. Hardly any turnovers, and that's going to play a key part in this game. Can Michigan stay on that streak, not turning the ball over much? Can they stay on there where they're getting a 100-yard rusher? Can they get a couple timely passes in there? Because listen, I've been griping all year. I think their pass game stinks. I don't think when they were blowing up on teams, I don't think they worked on the pass game enough. So anyways, these are just my opinions. I look at Michigan winning the game 31-24. Now, in the previous games that they played, where both of them have been in the top 5, out of the 4 games that I could find, 56, 57, 61, and 64, Michigan State is 3-1. So I think it's time for Michigan to win this big game. Now, listen, let's jump back over here now to the top 10 teams. Number 1 is Georgia. They had all the number 1 votes this week. They deserve it. They're playing great. I don't see them moving. I don't see anybody beating them at this point in time. They're a dominant team. Cincinnati, number 2. Cincinnati is not a number 2 team. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. They don't play anybody. They almost lost this weekend to a 1-win team. Number 3 is Alabama. Number 4 is Oklahoma. Number 5 is Ohio State. Number 6 is Michigan. Number 7 at this point in time is Oregon. 8 is Michigan State. 9 is Iowa. And number 10 is Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss. I think that they've been playing really good. Love their quarterback. But as far as it goes, there's going to be some big shakeups this week, just simply because you're going to lose Michigan or Michigan State in the top 10. If Ohio State loses, they're going to fall out of the top 10. They'll have 2 losses. And you know, although Penn State did not look good last week, losing to Illinois, they're not going to come into the Ohio State game and lay down. They're going to play hard. They're going to give Ohio State a heck of a game. And I don't think that, this won't be the same game, the same team that you saw last week playing Illinois. Now, in last week's games, I look at last week's games, and I told you right off the bat that my pick upset last week was Appalachian State was going to beat Coastal Carolina, and they did. Again, another team that was ranked high, that played nobody, and when they did play somebody, Appalachian State's not that great, but when they did play a good team, they were going to lose. So anyways, talking about some of the games this week coming up, I love the game that we have with Michigan State. I love the Ohio State, Penn State game. I'll be watching the Florida-Georgia game, the Iowa State-West Virginia game. I mean, there's actually some pretty darn good games. Mississippi and Auburn. Auburn is still Auburn. They're just not as talented this year as they have been in the past. Mississippi's a good team. So to me, it's still going to be an outstanding game, either way you look at it. Kentucky, Mississippi State. So we do have some tremendous games this week. I'm going to tell you, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that your team wins. Go Blue, and I'll catch you next week.